Let's talk about the unfortunate scenario of ending a terrible toast. What's up, people? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me. So today we're gonna talk about toasts, and in particular, if you get a doozy, if you get a terrible toast, if you get a toast that may ruin the entire wedding, what do you do? Like, what do you do? I've DJ'd over 1,000 weddings so far in my career, and I can tell you, out of every single one of them, I've only had to end one. So this is a rare scenario, but regardless, you wanna be ready for it. Now, before I get into all the tips, let's go for a little story time, okay? So first of all, the one toast I had to end wasn't, it was bad. I mean, he was just wasted and making an ass out of himself and just barely making sense. And like the bride basically stood up and gave me the cutthroat, and I sort of ended it. And I'm gonna talk about, the ways to end it and what to do and when to do it and all that good stuff in a little bit. But the worst toast I've ever seen in my life goes as follows. So I'm at a wedding, obviously. So the best man is making a speech, and at some point during the speech, he looks to the groom and he's like, yo, like the other night, man, that was a crazy night, right? We still know how to party, or something like that. I don't know, I forget what he said exactly, but like when he said it, like the bride looked kind of weird, and I was like, that was kind of weird, but whatever, we kind of brushed it off. Well, the father of the bride heard that comment and happened to like ask around the room, I guess, or, try and like find out like, what happened? What the hell was that about? And he found out that the, groom basically went to a strip club 2 nights ago, and I don't know, whatever happened. I never confirmed what was happening, but I know for a fact he was at a strip club with his friend, and they really knew how to party, apparently, right? Well, to make things even worse, the father of the bride actually married them. He got ordained or whatever just to marry them like a lot of people do, and when he found out what happened, he confronted the groom right in the middle of the wedding. They started fist fighting. They like broke them apart, right? Like different guests like broke the fight apart. I'm standing there like, oh my God, what's going on right now? I don't even know what to do, right? And then he takes the marriage certificate out of his pocket and rips it up in front of everyone. I was mortified, and everybody else was mortified. I didn't even know what to do. I just played music for the next 15, 20 minutes. I didn't say a word. I didn't know what to do. This was years ago too. Like I was kind of new, but still, even if this happened again to this day, I still don't know what to do in that situation. It was terrible, but it all stemmed from that toast. Crazy story, huh? Now afterwards, when that happened, like I kind of racked my brain and just tried to think like, is there any way I could have prevented this sort of thing from happening? I don't want weddings to get ruined, like whether or not it's my fault. I don't want it to happen. You know what I mean? Like, how could I have prevented this? And this brings me to tip number 1 when it comes to speeches. When I have my final meeting with the couple, which by the way, if you don't do final meetings with your couple, you're goofy. Like always meet your couples before the weddings. When I have my final meeting with the couple, I always ask them like about toast, what order they want them to go in, right? First, second, third. Do you want the best man to go last, the maid of honor to go last, whatever? And they ask, well, what should happen? I'm usually like, well, it depends who's gonna be the best. If someone's gonna be really, really good and the other person's nervous, then, save the best for last. That way, like, no one's following the best speech ever, right? But on top of that, I also ask how they think the toasts are gonna go. I'll be like, hey, how do you think the best man's toast is gonna go? Like, how do you think they're gonna do? You think they're gonna be nervous? You think they're gonna be, like, crush it? You think it's gonna be embarrassing? Like, what do you think? I'm just curious, and I just kind of, lightly ask that way. But I have a motive. I always do that because for the off shot that the couple says like, yeah, like he has a drinking problem, or yeah, like, I don't know what he's gonna say. I really wish he wasn't speaking at all. Or, if they're dreading this speech in any way, shape, or form, now I know and I can properly prepare for it. Sometimes a couple will even ask my advice to be like, what, now you bring it up, yeah, like I really don't want him to speak, like, but he really wants to speak because of whatever, and we, kind of feel obligated, and that's where I can chime in and like kind of dig and be like, well, why not? Why do you think this? Da-da-da-da. And then like when they tell me some information that, is kind of the recipe for disaster, they're adding all the ingredients, then, I can kind of advise them like, listen, I wouldn't let them speak at all if I was you. I don't think it's no big deal, there's no rules when it comes to weddings. No one will know the difference. No one knows if we ixnayed the toast except for this many people or whatever. And I kind of talk them out of it and prevent a situation like the story I just told you from happening. But at the very least, by asking that question during the final meeting and kind of like, getting little information about them, you can at least prepare yourself for a shit show that's about to happen. Now, with that being said, let's talk about cutting off the actual toast. So first of all, how I look at it is the toast is none of my business unless it's negatively affecting the couple. And therefore, the couple are the only two people that can make the call of me cutting off a toast. So if I think a toast is getting bad, right, you feel it in the air. It's like, oh man, he shouldn't have said that. Oh man, he should have said that. And you start to see like a look on the couple's face, like they're very upset. I'll sneak over to the couple as fast as I can, right, but like not making a scene. Like I'll take an outside door, or if the room's set up where it's like really awkward to go up to the couple during that, like everyone will kind of see you, like I'll try and get as close as I can to them and try and catch eyes with them, you know what I mean? Because you can walk around with the mic on the dance floor during the toast, like obviously, you know? So I'm walking around, you know, and I'll kind of just catch eyes with them and be like, you okay? You know, and lip it, like, are you okay? You know, I just check in with the couple and they'll tell you, they'll give you the signal. They'll tell you straight up, like whether or not like they want you to cut them off. I can't tell you how many times I heard a terrible toast, like it was going so bad, and I approached the couple during the toast, like on the sly, and said that, and they were like, nah, it's cool, let them go. You know what I mean? So if I just went by my own gut feeling in those situations and didn't consult with the couple and cut off that toast, I potentially would have pissed off the couple. They would have been mad at me. They would have been upset. Like that's a moment in their wedding that you're cutting off. Like this is a big deal. So you can't just make the executive decision. You have to let the couple make the decision always. No matter what they're saying, I don't care if they're talking politics, I don't care if they're talking about past relationships, I don't care what kind of skeletons they're bringing out of the closet or if they offend you or what, it doesn't matter. You can't think like that. It's all up to the couple. Like I said earlier in this video, out of all the weddings I've DJ'd, I've only cut off one person. That's it. One. All the other times I asked them, they're like, nah, we're good. Let them go. And they thanked me later for asking them. No, thank you. It was getting weird, but it is what it is. Everybody knows it. And I just let him finish and let him make an ass out of himself. I don't give a shit, or, you know, whatever they said. You know what I mean? Like they thank me for asking, but like, don't just go and do it. But now let's say you went and asked the couple and they're like, yeah, cut them off, right? They give you the signal. Give you the signal. Now you got a job to do, people. So this is the best way to cut off a toast, in my opinion. So I always wait until they're in between a sentence, right? They're not talking. And then I simultaneously will get on the mic, tell everyone to give them a round of applause while my assistant Santi is cutting off their mic. I would always wait for a gap in between their sentences because I think if you cut them off in the middle of a sentence, like they're speaking, you know, and then all of a sudden the mic turns off, they're gonna get significantly more mad. Like think about it. You're speaking, you know, you're drunk, whatever, and you're saying what's on your mind and this is important to you, and all of a sudden the mic turns off, you're like, who the hell turned my mic off? And then all of a sudden he's like charging at my DJ booth and shit. But if you're in between sentences, you got done the last sentence you had to say, right? And then you paused, and then you went to speak again, and then the mic was just off. You might be confused at first. You might be like, wait a second, is this thing on? Is this broken? Because you already finished what you had to say in the last sentence. You know what I mean? Like, you might be in the middle of a thought, but like you finish the last sentence at least, you put a period at the end, and I guess the confusion lasts for about 5 milliseconds until like I get on the mic and tell everybody to give them a round of applause. But you know, I think it's just the smoothest way to do it. It does require 2 mics, but if I can give you advice on that, you need 2 mics. I mean, for sanitary reasons, because of COVID, for the fact that like, you know, it's just easier. You don't have to go grab a mic from someone to make your announcement in between toasts and whatever. It just makes everything easier in life. Spend the extra money, have 2 mics. And now, of course, there's one last step to this, and that is you have to go and get that mic out of that person's hand immediately. It could be thrown across the room, it could be dropped, it could be put in his pocket and left. You know, you never know what's gonna happen to your mic, right? So go get that thing immediately, and once you get that, you're good to go. That's it, people. That's all my tips on how to end a bad toast. Has this happened to you? Have you ever had to end a toast before? What's the worst toast you've ever seen in your life? Put it in the comments. Let me know. I love hearing about the tape. I love it. And as always, if you like this video, if you learned something, hit the like button down there for me. I really, really appreciate it. And please subscribe. I'm posting videos all the damn time, and I'm on the road to 10K, people. But thanks again for watching, people. I appreciate every single one of you, and I'll see you at the next one. Later.